Hey, sweetie, I've got a bit of a favor to ask you.
Hey, honey. Sure. What's up?
Well, you know that my dad passed away a couple months ago, right?
Yeah?
Well, my mom hasn't been coping with his death too good, living on her own and everything, so I thought that maybe she would be better off living with us, at least for a little while anyway.
Oh, well, I don't know. I feel sorry for your mom, don't get me wrong, and I don't want her to feel lonely, but having her live with us is quite a big thing. We would lose all of our privacy, and we wouldn't be able to do what we want when we want to anymore. You know? Maybe we can see if there's another way, like maybe she could sell her house and we could find her an apartment or something nearby, so that she could come around whenever she wanted, but so that we can still have our space as well. What do you think?
Oh, well, I think that she might already have moved in.
What?
Yeah, I kinda told her that she could move in already. She's in the spare bedroom.
Why would you do that? You didn't even ask me before you went ahead and told her that she could move in? Now what am I supposed to do? I haven't even had any chance to get the house ready.
She doesn't care about the state of the house. She's just happy to not be alone. Please, just give this a chance. For me?
Okay, for you I will try.
Thank you. Okay then, I guess I'll see you after work.
I'll see you after work. Love you.
Oh, this house is such a mess. How do you expect me to live in such a pigsty? Huh, Sophie? I'm living here now too, so you can't just leave it a dump like this. Got it? Honestly, I don't know why you think it's okay to just leave it in such a mess. Have some pride, will you?
Oh, hi Delilah. I'm sorry about the mess. I didn't know you were coming to stay with us, and so I haven't had a chance to tidy up a little bit.
Well, that's not my fault. There's dirty dishes everywhere in the kitchen, not to mention that the surfaces are covered in crumbs and food splodges. Besides, you shouldn't be leaving the place like this regardless of whether I'm here or not. How do you expect my son to be able to live in a house like this? You are supposed to be a wife, so do your wifely duties and make sure that the house is clean. My son deserves at least that much.
It's really not that bad, Delilah. There's a few dishes from breakfast that I wasn't able to get around to cleaning yet, as I had to rush to get to work. And maybe there's a little bit of laundry about, but when I get back from work, I'll tidy it away.
Well, I don't want to be living in a dump. You need to come back now and clean the place.
I can't do that right now, Delilah, as I'm at work. I can't just drop what I'm doing and rush home to clean just because you want me to.
Oh, then what am I supposed to do? It's much too dirty and messy for me to live happily here. I can't stand it at all.
Well, if it's truly bothering you that much, why don't you clean up the mess? Or you could even go out until I get home from work, or maybe just go to your room and sleep or something.
You seriously just suggest that I clean up your mess? How lazy are you? I've only just moved in, and already you're trying to foister all of your household chores onto me. What? Is that what I have to do for the honor of living in your horrible, messy house? Do all of the chores?
No, Delilah, that's not what I was saying at all. I'm not making you do any chores. I just meant that if the mess was bothering you, you don't have to put up with it, okay? But I was by no means demanding that you clean the house. I can do it when I get back from work.
Well, I guess I'll just have to live in this filth until you deem it important enough to clean then, shall I?
Sure, Delilah. That's what you'll have to do. I need to go now. I have work.
Ugh, I honestly have no clue what my son sees in you. You don't even make a good housewife. You do none of the chores, clearly, and I bet you don't look after Joe properly. He probably has to do all of the chores himself. It wouldn't surprise me if he even has to cook for himself too.
Yes, I do, Delilah. I try my hardest to make sure that the house is in order, even though I also have to work. I'm the one who is always cooking the dinner, cleaning the house, and doing whatever other chores there are. Joe doesn't help out at all.
Not true. My Joe's perfect. He probably helps out when he needs to. He does more work than you, both in the house and at his job.
Okay, Delilah, that's just entirely not true at all. But I'm not going to argue with you about this again, especially not right now when I'm at work. So if you continue to message me, I'm sorry, but I just won't answer. I have very important things to do right now, and I can't be distracted from them by nonsense.
Oh, so suddenly anything I find a problem is just nonsense? How rude of you.
Look, I didn't mean it like that, but I really don't have time to talk anymore. We can sort this all out later. Goodbye, Delilah.
Sophie, we need to talk.
Joe, what's wrong?
How dare you talk to my mother the way you did? She didn't do anything to deserve your rude and abrupt behavior.
What? What are you on about?
You can't play dumb with me. She told me all about your conversation with her earlier. She told me that she messaged you simply to ask if you were going to do any cleaning when you got home, as the house was a bit messy. and she wanted to know whether she should clean it or leave it to you. She didn't want to do anything wrong or put anything where it didn't belong. But then you exploded on her, telling her that it was none of her business and that you were too busy to do any cleaning, that if she wanted the house to be clean, then she would have to do it herself. She's literally only just moved in and you're trying to make her the maid? That's my mother.
Okay, none of that happened. I mean, yes, she did message me this afternoon, but it wasn't to ask about if she could clean the house. Instead, she began spewing a barrage of horrible comments at me, telling me that I wasn't good enough for you and that I wasn't a proper wife, as I wasn't doing all of the chores at home. She even demanded that I leave my work and go home just so I could clean the house for her. She was really vile to me, Joe, considering it is our house that she has moved into.
I doubt that.
What?
I doubt my mom would be so rude. She's not a rude woman. She's actually one of the sweetest women I know, and I resent the fact that you're trying to blame her for your horrible behavior towards her this afternoon.
How can you just believe her like that and disregard everything I have said? I'm your wife, Joe. I think I deserve a little bit of consideration when I tell you that your mom was the one who was the one being horrible.
That's just a lie. I don't appreciate you lying about my mom like that, Sophie. If this is how you're gonna behave now that she's moved in with us, then we're definitely gonna need a good talk to lay down some ground rules.
You know what? Yeah, sure. Let's have that talk. And we can include your mom, and we can all lay out some ground rules. We can also share out all of the chores.
What do you mean by that?
Well, now that there's going to be 3 of us in the house, there's going to be more mess, which means more work required to clean the mess up. I can't do it all by myself, especially considering that I'm working until 6 every night. So, I'll have to have help to get it all done.
But
That means you as well, Joe. You can start picking up some of the slack too.
I have work too, you know.
Yes, and so do I. So it's only fair if we even out the chores. And your mom can help as well now that she's living with us.
Fine, we can all talk about it when we get back.
Great. I look forward to it. Joe, you need to tell your mom that she needs to help out around the house more. I mean, have you seen the state of the house? It's a mess. There are dirty dishes everywhere, some with half-eaten food still in them. There's a constant smell of cigarette smoke. Your mom's dirty clothes are everywhere. I seriously can't live like this for much longer, Joe.
Well then, clean it up. If you hate the smell and mess so much, do something about it.
I would, but I've had to pick up extra shifts and overtime at work just so we can afford the increase in bills. I literally don't have time to clean up when I get back.
Well, that's convenient now, isn't it?
Joe, I won't be finishing work until 10 tonight. That means I won't be home until about 10:30, 11. I then have to get up at 6 a.m. to make sure I have time to get ready for work, which I need to be in for at 8 a.m. the following day. Where in that time frame am I supposed to clean the house? Huh? Or am I just not supposed to sleep, or eat, or have any time to myself?
Well then, maybe you shouldn't work so late.
I literally can't, Joe. Do you know how much the bills have increased monthly?
It can't be that much.
They're roughly 200 to 300 more.
What? How is that even possible?
I don't know. Ask your mother.
Well, you'll have to figure something out.
What?
Well, yeah, look, my mom is going through a really tough time, so I can't expect her to just start acting like a maid. She can't go around cleaning the house just because you want her to. She needs time to adjust and get over her husband. She can't do that if you're making her do all the housework and whatnot.
Fine then. You'll have to help out a bit more then. You'll have to do a bit more cleaning and tidying whilst I'm working overtime.
But I really don't want to do that. I mean, I'm the husband. I shouldn't have to do the housework. That's the wife's job.
Excuse you?
You heard me. Housework is for women. That's you. So you'll just have to figure something out in order to keep the house clean. We can't be living in such a pigsty.
What on earth has happened to you?
What do you mean?
Ever since your mom moved into the house, you have steadily become more lazy, more demanding of me, and much more demeaning towards me. It's ridiculous. I don't know what your mom is telling you, but whatever it is, you need to stop listening to her because she is completely wrong and outdated in her views.
My mom has just made it a bit more clear about who should do what in the house. You can't blame her for just straightening things out and just letting me know how things should be between a man and his wife. Obviously, you wouldn't tell me what should be happening as you just want to try and control everything. Well, that's not going to be happening any longer.
What on earth are you on about?
I'm the husband, and so you'll do what I tell you.
Oh, is that so?
Yes.
Well, whilst you contemplate the actual consequences of your actions, I'm going back to work. I've got things to do.
You can't just turn away from me. Not like this. You're going to stay and listen to me as I talk to you, and then you'll come home and do what I tell you to do.
Can I just ask you something?
What?
Is this how you're going to be from now on? This attitude of yours? Or will you go back to normal if your mom moves out?
Look, you might not like it, but this is the new me. My mom has opened my eyes to how things should be, so I'm not going to be changing back into my old ways at all. Like it or not, this new me is who you'll have to get used to from now on. Oh, and we're not getting rid of my mom.
I see. Well then, I clearly have a lot of thinking to do.
What do you mean? Thinking about what? Sophie?
Sophie, you answer my son right now. You can't just start ignoring him. He's been trying to contact you for ages.
Well, I have work to do, along with a few other errands, so I don't have time to have a chat.
Husband is trying to talk to you, so you can't just ignore him.
I have nothing left to say to that man anymore. Not since you've poisoned him against me.
Well, maybe you should have been a better wife then, huh? Maybe then he would actually see you as his wife.
Or maybe you should have minded your own business, left me, Joe, and our marriage alone, and lived on your own somewhere instead of coming to my house.
Maybe someone's moody that they didn't get their way, and that they've lost control of your husband.
Whatever, Delilah. I have important work to do, so I'm leaving.
What?
What?
I regret my decision to let you marry my son. Waste time. File for divorce immediately.
It's done. The divorce is finalized and you've moved out.
Huh? What are you on about?
Exactly what I just said. I've filed for divorce. I might have jumped the gun saying that it's finalized, but it will be very soon. The judge will see the case soon enough and grant me the divorce. So, it's as good as finalized.
But why?
You're seriously asking me why? Have you seen how you and Joe have been treating me these last few weeks? You've both been utterly vile to me, demanding that I do all the chores, see to your every need, and basically become your slave when I'm at home. You two have literally pushed me to the point of breaking, and I don't want to live like that anymore. I asked Joe if he would kick you out of the house, and he said no. So, if that's the way he wants to be, then so be it. He can stick with you if that's his choice. I'm gone.
Well, fine then. We don't need you anyway. You were never good enough for my son anyway. He deserved so much better than you. Someone who would actually act like a wife is supposed to.
Uh-huh. That's great. Oh, but before I forget, I just need to tell you that you and Joe will have to move out of my house.
What? You're kidding, right?
Nope, I'm incredibly serious.
This house is my son's. You can't kick us out of it.
Actually, this house is mine.
What do you mean?
The lease of the house is in my name. I'm the one who pays the mortgage and all of the bills, so I get to decide who lives in my house and who doesn't. And obviously, I don't want you living in it anymore.
You can't do that.
Yes, I can actually.
But you're just the wife, not the man. The man owns all of the things, like the house and the car and stuff.
They might have done in the 1950s, but in the modern era, women can actually own things for themselves. Shocking, I know, but that's just how things are, I'm afraid.
What are me and Joe supposed to do now? Where are we supposed to go?
Well, as the man, I'm sure that Joe can sort something out, right? He will get you two a new place before you know it.
You know that he can't do that. He hasn't got the money. Besides, I don't want to live with just him. He's a slob, and I can't live in a house that looks like a dump.
Well then, maybe you should have thought about that before you decided to be completely horrible to me. Oh well though, it's not my problem, so I'm just going to let you deal with that. I've got more important things to do.
Like what?
Like actually having a day to relax by myself for once. It's been a long time since I've been able to actually sit back and relax, and I think I am definitely going to enjoy it. See you later, Delilah. Oh, and if you and Joe aren't out of my place by the time I get back, I'll call the police.
But no, you can't. This is my house, not yours.
See ya, Delilah. After getting the divorce, I really did kick Delilah and Joe out of my house. I was sad that I had to leave Joe, but he really had changed for the worse due to his mom, and I couldn't live in such a toxic environment any longer. Although, it was quite satisfying to kick them out and finally have a clean house to come home to again. After they left, I heard that Joe and his mom had to move into a tiny apartment, as they simply didn't have the money to buy a new house. But I guess that's karma when you honestly try to make life horrible for someone for no reason. As for me, I ended up selling my house and using the money to travel around a bit. It was something that I had always wanted to do, but never got around to due to marrying Joe. So far, my trip has been amazing, and I can't wait to see what life brings next.
Jane, I need you to go to the shops and pick me up some shopping. I need eggs, milk, some fruit, canned veg, and a bunch of other things. I'll send a list through. Also, you'll have to pay for all of this as I have no money at the minute.
Oh, hello, Mom. Yeah, I'm okay, thanks for asking. What's that? How's my day going? It's not too bad, actually.
Stop being so snarky, Madison. I don't have time for this. I'm still working, unlike some people.
What's that supposed to mean?
I know exactly what I'm on about.
Oh, so you're back on this spiel again. Trying to claim that I don't work or anything, so I should act like your personal maid?
Both know that writing simply isn't a job. You need to get some proper work so that you actually have a bit of money to spend.
Writing is a job, and I'm doing very well with it at the moment. Thank you very much.
Huh. And I've suddenly become a famous singer, flush with money. Oh, I've just remembered, with the shopping you'll have to pay for all of it as I have no money at the minute.
Hang on, didn't you get paid only last week?
And?
Well, considering this is your food, I think you should pay for it. I mean, with how things are at the moment with the economy, I simply can't afford to pay hundreds of dollars for your shopping when I've got to pay for all of my stuff too.
To my daughter, I spent years of my life raising you, looking after you, and paying for everything you needed. I think the least you could do is pay for my food this one time, don't you?
That's quite a lot of money though, Mom. Shopping isn't cheap nowadays.
Excuse me. You are my daughter, and I have brought you up and made sure you had a good life until adulthood, and you were able to go off on your own. But you chose not to do that, didn't you?
What?
Well, just with your job, you're not exactly making a lot of money, are you? There's no way that you'll be able to actually afford a decent life. You're just going to end up leeching off of people. Probably me.
I'm not trying to leech off of anyone. And what kind of mom talks to their child like that? You act as if I'm some horrible stranger you don't know, demanding that I do whatever you say.
Do not. Stop being so overdramatic. You know it's annoying when you get like that. Nobody likes it.
You mean you don't like it? Besides, I'm not being overly dramatic, just truthful.
Sure. Okay. Whatever you say.
Well, you know what? I can't do anything for you anyway, because I'm out at the moment.
Do you mean you're out?
I'm out with friends. We decided to go to a bar for the evening and just have a girls' night.
You didn't invite me?
Well, no. They're my friends, and you have no idea who they are, so why would you come out with us?
Well, first you won't get my shopping for me, and now you're excluding me from nights out? Are you embarrassed of me, or do you just hate me? What have I done to deserve such hatred from you?
Mom, what are you on about? I don't hate you. It's just that this is my life. You wouldn't expect me to come out with you and your friends, would you?
What? Of course you couldn't come out with us. They're my friends. I wouldn't want you embarrassing me.
Well then, why do you think it would be okay to come out and embarrass me?
Oh, I see. I'm just an embarrassment to you, huh? Nice way to talk to your mother.
Ugh, look, Mom, I'm going to go now. I'm sorry you feel like that, but I can talk to you tomorrow about it all. I really don't have time to talk now.
Oh, I see. Well then, I guess I'll just go and sit all by myself and be incredibly lonely and depressed. Don't worry, it's not your fault. Even if you won't include me in your life.
Mom, please don't make this all about you again. I'm just having a night out with my friends, and I don't want it ruined.
Whatever, Jane. You're just being a selfish little girl again. You were always like this. Always being selfish and only thinking of your own wants and needs. You never once thought of me. Like that time when we were on holiday and you had the last of the chocolate ice cream from the shop. I wanted that flavor and you simply took it for yourself.
Mom, I was 10 years old. You can't really expect me to have been conscious about the fact that you wanted chocolate ice cream as well, especially when you hadn't even said that you wanted it. From what I remember, you actually had said that you wanted the strawberry flavor.
Yes, well, I hadn't fully made up my mind. And then, when I saw the chocolate, I knew that was what I wanted.
I can't believe you're still going on about this. It was over 20 years ago.
And yet, you've still maintained your selfish tendencies. I don't know where I went wrong with you.
Okay, that's it. I'm going now. I'm not going to stay here and let you insult me and whatever else you want to try and do. I'll talk to you tomorrow if you actually bother to be mature and nice. And if there's anything you need from the shop, I can grab it for you tomorrow. But I won't be buying your entire shopping list for you.
So you're just going to ignore me for the rest of the night now?
Yeah, pretty much.
You can't do that, Jane. You need to listen to your mother and respond when I message you. Jane! Ugh, some daughter you are.
Hey girl, sorry I couldn't come out with you and the others the other night, but Dylan would not stop crying and I couldn't bear to leave him when he was so upset. Did I miss much?
Florence, hey. No, it's totally okay. We all understood. We'll have to make it a lunch outing next time so that we can all meet little Dylan as well. You really didn't miss much. Sue and Ben are heading off on a cruise soon, and Jennifer has got a new puppy.
How is that not missing much? You know I love puppies. Now I'm going to have to go and see it, lol.
Haha, well, it did look quite adorable in her photos.
Well, what about you? Is there anything going on with you?
Oh, well, the book I wrote has been picked up and published. In fact, it came out a few days ago and it's had really good reactions. People seem to love it. I guess there are more people with toxic mothers than I originally thought.
Oh, that is for sure. I mean, my own mom has some bad tendencies too, so I know I could have used with your book, lol.
It's just my mom, though.
Oh, is she being...
Her usual, demanding, toxic self? Yeah. She messaged me the other night demanding that I get her shopping for her, despite it being like 9 at night. She even demanded that I pay for all of it, and it would have come to well over $100. I mean, I get that she's my mom and stuff, but I can't really afford to buy all of her shopping for her. And I know that if I do it once for her, then she's going to demand that I do it all of the time from then on. Not to mention that she was trying to guilt trip me into doing all of this by saying that she gave birth to me, so I owed her. I mean, what kind of mom does that?
A pretty rubbish one, I'd have to say.
Yeah, sorry about just randomly dumping all of that on you.
Hey, it's okay. That's what best friends are for. I'm just sorry you have to put up with something like that on a daily basis. I'm guessing all these situations and different kind of things have made their way into your book?
Oh yeah. That book is basically a masterclass on how to deal with a toxic parent, lol.
Well, maybe you should just cut her out of your life, especially if she's not actually making it any better for you.
I know, but I still feel bad. She's still my mom.
But she treats you like dirt, and she'll continue to treat you like dirt until you stand up to her.
Maybe you're right. I mean, it's probably about time I try and stick up for myself. I could start by telling her about my book.
Yeah, and depending on how she takes it, you can decide what to do from there. I mean, she might have an epiphany and start treating you better after realizing just how much trauma she put you through when you were a young girl.
Yeah, she might, but it's kind of doubtful.
Well, you can only hope and try.
Yeah, you're right. Anyway, I've got to go, so I'll see you soon.
Yes, definitely. I can introduce all of you to Dylan then.
Oh, I would love that.
Well, let me know a date when we can all meet up again. I'll see you soon, and good luck with your mom.
See you soon. Hey Mom, how are you today?
Oh, Jane. Well, to be completely honest, I'm kind of frustrated. Nothing is going my way today.
Oh, well, I've got some good news, I think.
Go on then. I could do with some good news for once.
Well, you know about that book I told you about? The one I've been working on?
God, not this again. How many times do I have to tell you that this whole book nonsense isn't going to get you any money? It's a complete waste of time.
It's not a waste of time.
Yes, it is. Look, let's face it. You'll never be as good as this person who's written this new book that everyone's talking about. So you should just give up and move on to a real job.
What book is that then?
Have you read the book Raised by a Toxic Mother? That stupid book is on everyone's lips.
Yes, I'm the author.
Huh? Don't be ridiculous. You're not the author. The author writes about her toxic mother and how she has had to go through all of these horrible situations whilst growing up, trying to deal with this woman. How the woman would constantly belittle her, or how she would almost gaslight her into thinking that she wasn't good enough for her mom, and that she didn't deserve to have nice things because she hadn't worked for them, or something stupid like that. Your life was never like that. I mean, I was the perfect mother, and there's nothing really you can say against that.
What? Yes, it was. You were incredibly controlling and demanding and demeaning to me. You were so toxic, it was unbelievable, and you haven't really improved much as the years have gone by. You still yell at me over the stupidest of things, not to mention that you still demand that I do everything for you. It's like you act like a toddler, unable to do anything for yourself. And I don't know if it's because you really can't be bothered to do things for yourself, or if it's because you're just incredibly jealous of me and hate the thought of me having my own life.
Me? Jealous of you? Don't make me laugh. I have a much better life than you. I mean, honestly, you live in a horrible, squalid little apartment that I really wish that I would never have to step foot in. Not to mention that you can't afford anything actually decent in life, as you simply have no money, as you're a rubbish writer, and no one would ever want to buy your book.
Well, I guess you're wrong there then, aren't you? Considering my book is being talked about and read by a lot of people.
Can't be your book, though. It's too good to be yours.
It is?
Well then, how dare you write about me like that? It's all a bunch of lies and slander. You make me sound like a horrible person, and it's just not true. I was a loving and caring mother to you when you were younger. Nothing more, nothing less.
No, you weren't. The only time you cared to show me any kind of affection was when we had guests over so that you wouldn't look bad in front of them. Any other time when it was just the family, you didn't care how you acted. You would tell me that I was ungrateful and that I should get a job to earn money to pay rent and stuff when I was just 12 years old. You'd also constantly comment on what I was wearing, or what I was doing, or who I was talking to because you hated the fact that I was younger than you and had more opportunities in life than you did. I mean, if you didn't want a kid, if you were going to be so jealous of them, why did you have one?
Well, it's not like I actually wanted you. You were a mistake, plain and simple. If I could go back in time and not get pregnant, I would definitely do that.
Wow. Thanks for that, Mom. What a nice thing to say.
It's simply the truth. You just weren't worth the effort.
Well, you know what? I don't need you anyway. I've become a successful author whose book is flying off of the shelves. It looks like I'm not the only one with a toxic parent, and people want all of the help that they can get in dealing with them. And in fact, with just how toxic you are, I might even have to write a second book, following up on your insane attitude.
Well, considering the book is about me, I should get royalties, or like 50% of the profits. You wouldn't have that story if it weren't for me.
I would much rather have had a mom who loved and cared for me than a reason to write that book. If you honestly think that I would rather have a reason to write that book instead of having a mom who loves and cared for me, then you're even more stupid than I originally thought.
Please, anyone would pick the money over something as trivial and childish as family.
No, you might pick that, but other, more caring people would always pick their family.
Well then, they'd be idiots, wouldn't they?
No, they'd be right in choosing family. And because I know that you'll never pick me over, well, pretty much anything else, I've decided to take some of my own advice and cut you off completely.
Huh?
Yep, I'm done with trying to please you. Nothing I do will ever be good enough for you, but that's your problem, not mine. I'm a smart, beautiful, and independent woman who knows her worth. You can't put me down anymore because I won't let you.
Jane, what are you saying?
I'm saying goodbye. I'm not going to bother talking to you again, and unless you act mature and speak to me in a respectful manner, I'm not going to reply to any messages that you might send me.
Can't do that.
Actually, I can. It's actually the last tactic recommended by therapists if a toxic person won't change. So, I guess all I have to say now is goodbye. I hope you are able to change your toxic behavior one day, as it might lead you to a better life.
Wait, Jane!
After that, I cut my mom out of my life. She was simply too toxic to keep around, and she was making my life more difficult than it needed to be. Even though she was family, it still didn't justify how she was treating me. It's important to know your worth and only keep the people who will make your life better in your life. Since then, I have felt much happier and less stressed. As for my mom, she tried to get in contact with me the first few days. However, when I didn't respond, she soon gave up. She hasn't bothered to apologize or anything yet, so I will continue to ignore her until she does. Though, I don't hold much hope that she will. But, oh well, as long as my life is better for cutting her out, I will keep true to my word.